Record. Here we go. So completing the square again. This is probably one of the most important aspects of the entire unit, simply because we're going to be doing completing the square with each of the conic sections that we have. It's really, really, really important. So the first thing I want you guys to do is I want to see what you can do to use completing the square to put these two problems into that vertex form. Use the completing the square to put it into that form. So what do you think? Did you get the same thing I got? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are all good for that. Or if you all have questions. Okay, sweet. So it looks like we are doing okay with that. Sadie, do you have a question?
Yeah. For the second problem, why is it minus 3/4 instead of adding 3/4?
Yeah.
Because I'm a big dork. Boop. I don't know what you're talking about. It clearly says plus 3/4. Come on, Sadie, pay attention. Just kidding. All right, so what did you guys think of the breakout room? Was it easy to understand, easy to use? A little bit? Okay, so that way I just think that I miss being in class, and that might be a chance for you guys to feel a little bit more like you're turning to your neighbor and like checking answers. All right, so I've just given you two problems that I think are pretty straightforward. Let's go for two more problems that are a little bit harder because we have multipliers involved. All right. What do you think? If you've got any questions, just let me know. I'm here to answer them. Did I screw up this time? Am I okay? All righty then. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about midpoint and distance. Okay, just a little bit of a flashback to make sure everybody kind of remembers what all of our rules are here, our formulas are. Very, very simple, nothing crazy here. Our midpoint formula is going to be if I have 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2. Those are my 2 points. My distance for my midpoint formula is going to be just, wait, does anybody remember the midpoint formula? Can somebody tell me what it is? Go for it, Sophia.
Am I unmuted? No.
Yep.
Okay. Is it x1 plus x2 divided by 2?
Uh-huh.
And then y1 plus y2 divided by 2.
Beautiful. So that is our midpoint formula. And with the midpoint formula, you want to make sure that you're always pairing together your x's and that you're going to be pairing together your y's. That's actually not a good color. Let's do blue. So x's get paired together, y's get paired together. Does anybody remember the distance formula?
I know it, I think.
You know it, Kyle? Go for it.
Yeah. Is it, it's in a square root, and it's x squared minus, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared.
Beautiful. And ladies and gentlemen, what's really nice about the distance formula is I really couldn't care less as to which one of these guys you put first. You can put the x1, y1 first, and then, or you can mix them up. It doesn't matter whatsoever. I actually typically deal with the x1 minus x2 simply because I like to stick with the same formula for midpoint. but it does not matter. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use those formulas to find the distance and midpoint between a couple of specific points. So go ahead and write down problem number 5. Hang on one second. Yep, we're only going to have a total of 10 problems here today. Making great time. All right, so for the midpoint, nice, simple, easy. All you do for the midpoint is you're going to say an x plus the other x over 2, the y plus the other y over 2. So when I go through and I do the math for that, 2 plus -7 is -5 over 2. -5 plus 8 is 3 over 2. And all I'm going to ask you guys to do is to please leave your answers in simplified form. Okay? And then when we go through and we try to talk about the distance we're going to say is the square root of x minus x. So that becomes 2 plus 7 squared plus y minus y squared. And you want to make sure that when you do these things that you take note the fact that there is a squared in it. So 2 plus 7 is 9. -5 minus 8 is -13. Then we just kind of keep going with it. We're going to say 9 squared is 81. Oh, my brain, what is 13 squared?
169.
Beautiful. And 81 plus 169 is going to be, carry the 1. One more time.
250.
250. Now, I do need to simplify this. Does anybody recall how to simplify a square root?
Yeah, you can do like the factor tree thing and then see like what you can take out of it.
Good. And I look at this guy and I say, based on that factor tree, okay, go away. Based on that factor tree, what is the largest perfect square I can put into that?
20 or 5 squared, which is 25.
Right, because that's 25 times 10. And then the square root of both of those, so that's 5 square roots of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right, I want you guys just do the midpoint for problem number 6. Just the midpoint. Actually, stop that. Stop it! I am going to be nice because I just realized I asked you to do distance and midpoint for these guys. So just take the numerators. That makes the problem a lot easier. Go ahead, take a look. Do your answers match mine? What do we think?
I have a question for the distance one.
Uh-huh.
Since it's subtracting and it's a negative, wouldn't it be -4 plus 15?
Ah, I made a boo-boo. Yes.
And it would be 11.
So then that would be correct, a positive 11 right here, which means the final answer would also be 11. Thank you very much. Anybody else have questions? We good in the hood? All right. So then just one little last thing. These will go pretty quickly and we'll call it a day. For these guys, now I'm giving you the midpoint and another endpoint. So if you want to think about this graphically, what it is that we're talking about here is we have 2 points, A and B, wherever they might be on the coordinate plane. And then we've got in the middle, M for midpoint. And these two things should be the same. There are a couple of different ways that you can do this. If I'm looking at problem number 8 here, let me give you guys a chance to write that stuff down. Okay, so I'm giving you a problem like number 8, and I'm telling you what the midpoint is, and I'm telling you another point. You can do this in a whole bunch of different ways. You can think about each of these guys as being pieces of an equation, and you can use the idea that the midpoint is equal to add up the ends and divide by 2. Or you can think about each individual piece. The x midpoint is the 2 x's. The y midpoint is the 2 y's. And you can plug your information in. And you can say, all right, my x midpoint is -11. And then I have 25 plus something over 2. And solve that equation. Do the same thing with the y midpoint, where it's 23 is equal to -9 plus y over 2. And solve that. Can anybody tell me, using this method, what the x coordinate of the midpoint is going to be?
For X, I got -47.
For x, we get -47. And anybody have y?
Should be 55.
55. Okay. Do we have questions on how those answers came to be? What should be your first step?
You multiply by 2 to the other side.
Right. Multiply by 2 to get the 2 out of the denominator. So we have -22 is equal to 25 plus x. Subtract 25, and that's where the -47 comes from. Same thing with the y. You work through the exact same steps. You would say, okay, times both sides by 2. And you'd have 46 is -9 plus y. Add 9. And y is equal to 55. To me, I think of that as an extremely difficult way of doing it. I think it's a lot easier to kind of think visually. So if I look at the sketch that I have over here, and I want to go this way, from -11 to +25, what do I have to do to -11 to get +25?
Add 36.
Add 36, good. So that means if I want to go the other direction, if I added 36 going that way, I can subtract 36 going that way. Same thing with the y's. I can say, all right, for me to go from here to here, from 23 to -9, what do you do to 23 to get -9? Can anybody tell me?
Subtract 32.
Subtract 32. So if I subtracted going that way, going this way, I'm going to add 32. I don't care which one of those methods you use to finish this off. You can think about it visually, or you can think about it algebraically. And I'm not even going to sit here and say that you have to show all of that work. Really, what I'm looking at in the end is just to get that other endpoint. That's what I'm looking at getting. Okay? So with that being said, let me give you guys some more problems. Last two problems of the day. Okay, those are the last two problems of the day. Once you get those copied down, I'm going to again kick you into your breakouts. Whoops, wrong guy. Now, I did it both ways. I did it one thinking about it in a picture, and I did one using formulas. So take a look at those
Miss
answers.
Oxburger,
Yeah?
13 plus 7 is not 21.
I'm so busy trying to go fast so that I can catch you guys in your discussions in your breakout rooms that I'm making all these crazy little mistakes. So how are we doing? We're doing okay?
Good.
Good. Give me a thumbs up if you think you've got this. Lots of thumbs up. All right. Sweet. Now I'll tell you, on Khan Academy, I do have distance and midpoint practice. And remember, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the optional practice. So that's basically the distance, midpoint, and completing the square stuff. And I'm going to turn that into a grade if you would like it. So there's an opportunity for you guys to get a little bit of an extra bump, okay? So I'll turn it into an optional classwork grade, and I'll make it worth 10 points. Okay, so worth as much as 2 classworks from regular class. And if you're not happy with your score, you just keep doing it over and over again until you are. Okay? So we are done for today. I'm going to hang out here just in case anybody has any extra questions. But, oh, wait, I'm not done yet. I take that back. Let me reshare my video. Okay. So we are basically, next week we don't have anything. Okay. Does everybody understand that next week we don't have anything going on? Why not? Why don't we have anything? Can anybody tell me what's going on next week?
Spring break.
It's spring break.
Spring break. And I had offered, Kyle's like, spring break. I had offered to you guys if you wanted to continue, but most of you guys said nope. So we're going to take a week off. We're supposed to be having an announcement today from the county as to upcoming changes or anything else. So what I'm going to do is get Trig on my lap because he's crying. I am going to listen to what they have to say in the meeting and use that to kind of determine meeting dates and times for the week that we come back. Okay, I will email you guys out. I don't know if they're going to set a schedule and say